Hello students, welcome to the biology class. Today we are continuing with our same chapter, how do organisms reproduce. In our previous session we discussed about the modes of asexual reproduction, in which we discussed about the very important modes of reproduction, that is your budding and fission. Today we are discussing some more modes of the asexual reproduction, and first we are going to discuss regeneration. What is regeneration? Means ability to develop the new organism. So regeneration is the ability of fully differentiated organism to give rise to new individual organism from their body parts. Means some part is there, and from that body parts the new and complete organism is going to be formed. The examples of regeneration is HYDRA and PLANARIA. Regeneration in HYDRA and PLANARIA means the steps that how the regeneration takes place in these animals. So when animal like HYDRA, PLANARIA is cut into number of pieces, each grows into new full individual. Regeneration is carried out by the certain specialized cell. This is very important point. If that specialized cells are not being present at the cut part of the body, then the new organism will not be formed. So the formation of the new organism will take place only if the specialized cells are being present, and these cells undergo proliferation. Proliferation means multiplication and make a large number of cells. Different cells from this mass undergo changes to become various cell types and tissues. These changes takes place in an organized sequential manner and known as development. So in this picture you can see that how the regeneration takes place in PLANARIA as well as in a HYDRA. This is the parent PLANARIA, you can say the adult PLANARIA, and cut into the number of the pieces, and each piece is forming a complete individual. But here you can see the lost part is also being present, and the lost part, this lost part, they are having a specialized cells, and from the multiplication of these specialized cells the complete individual is formed and develop into the new organism. So the lost part is being regenerated with the help of the specialized cells, and then they becomes the new individual. Same is in the case of the HYDRA, that is a parent HYDRA that is cut into the number of pieces. Each cut piece develops the lost part with the help of a specialized cells, and they become the new daughter HYDRA or the new organism. This is what called as a regeneration. But sometimes the question is, regeneration is not reproduction. Justify the statement. A very simple answer is because that is a multiplication of a lost part. The cells are being formed and the lost part is being regenerated. So when the piece is cut from the organism, it grows into the complete organism. The cut piece is the older one, and the new part is being formed, and the regeneration is carried by the specialized cells. It is not reproduction, since most organisms would not be able to grow through the pieces, because they cannot regenerate when they are cut into the pieces, because they are not having a specialized cells by which they can regenerate into the new individual. That's why the regeneration is not the reproduction. The next mode of the asexual reproduction is fragmentation. This is considered to be same as that of the regeneration, but still that is a difference. Fragmentation takes place in the simple organized organisms, and the example is Spirogyra. Here the piece, they are being fragmented, they are being cut, but not the cut piece will develop, but a complete new organism is being formed in fragmentation. Regeneration में जो loss part है उससे complete organism बनेगा, पर fragmentation के हर fragment से एक नया part develop होगा, नया individual बनेगा. Let's see. Fragmentation is the process of breaking up the body of an organism into two or more fragments, and each of which growing into the new individual. The example is Spirogyra. What is Spirogyra? Spirogyra, that is a multicellular organism with simple organization. Seen in Spirogyra, during this process, filament of Spirogyra. So the Spirogyra is a form of an algae which is present in the filamentous form, simply break up into the smaller pieces upon maturation. When they are become matured, so they are divided into the small pieces, and these pieces or fragments grow into the new individuals. And this process occurs under the favorable conditions of moisture, temperature, light, and the nutrient availability. So that takes place in the organism with the simple organization, and we are having the simple example, that is your Spirogyra. When they become mature, the filament of Spirogyra, they are being divided into the number of the fragments, and each fragments under the favorable condition develop into the new individual. This is the image of that. This is the Spirogyra. This is the filamentous structure of Spirogyra, and you can see this ribbon-like structure. This is the chloroplast of the Spirogyra. So the chloroplast of Spirogyra is of a ribbon shape. This is the nuclei. So when they get matured, so they are divided into the fragment, and each fragment will develop into the new individual. Such type of the reproduction is known as fragmentation. The next and the very important is spore formation, and another name is sporulation. So during the spore formation, a knob-like structure. So here you can see this is a sac-like structure, the knob-like structure called as sporangia. They are being developed from the fungal hyphae. So this stem-like structure of the fungi is known as the hyphae, and at the tip of the hyphae you will have a knob-like structure, the sac-like structure, that is called as the sporangia, and they contains the spores inside. And when they get full with the spores, they get ruptured. So this is the ruptured sporangia which contain the spores, and they are liberated by the ruptured sporangia wall and fall on the suitable substratum. What is a suitable substratum? That is the temperature, efficient temperature, moisture, and then they develop into the new individual or new fungi. A very common example is fungi like rhizopus. So this is the fungi like rhizopus that is called as the bread mold and bacteria. So you must have seen during this rainy season, on the bread you will find a green layer is there. So that green color structure which appear because of the moisture on the bread or on the, you can say, any of your namkeen, that is what called as the fungi, and they are growing because of the spore formation, जिसे हम हिंदी में आराम से बोलते हैं फूंदी लग जाना. जैसे आपके पास लेदर की बेल्ट है, उसमें ग्रीन ग्रीन डॉट्स दिखते हैं. आपकी अगर लेदर की कोई स्लीपर्स है, उसको अगर बहुत दिन तक आप इस मौसम में नहीं टच करते, जब आपके एटमॉस्फेयर में ह्यूमिडिटी है, तो उसमें ग्रीन ग्रीन कलर के डॉट्स लग जाते हैं. वो ग्रीन कलर के डॉट्स क्या है? दैट इज योर फंजाई. And the mode of reproduction in fungi is the spore formation, because wherever they will fall, and if they have a moisture, if they have a sufficient temperature, adequate conditions are there, favorable conditions are there, they will develop into the fungi. So they will form a complete layer over there. So this is what called as a spore formation. But if the spores they fall on the unfavorable condition, they are not going to reproduce there, they are not going to develop into the new individual, then how they will prevent themselves? So the very important question, how will an organism be benefited if it reproduces through the spores? So spores formed are covered by the thick wall and that protect them from the adverse conditions, and during the favorable condition, thick resistant wall breaks down and new organism grow from it. So as long as the favorable conditions are not being present, so the spores they are being covered by the thick wall, but as soon as the favorable conditions are there, that thick wall is going to be break and they grow into the new individual. So this is the benefit if the organism they reproduce from the spores, because the spores they are not going to be degenerate, they are get under the protection by the thick wall that protect them from the adverse condition. That adverse conditions are known as the unfavorable condition. जैसे आप कोई सब्जी अपनी फ्रिज के अंदर रखते हो तो फ्रिज का जो टेम्परेचर है वो फंजाई के बैक्टीरिया के ग्रो करने के लिए फेवरेबल नहीं है, तब तक उनकी ग्रोथ रुकी रहेगी। जब आप उस सब्जी को निकाल के रूम टेम्परेचर पे रखते हो, शेल्फ पे रखते हो, तो 2-3 घंटे अगर गर्मी में वो बाहर रहती है तो वो खराब हो जाती है। मीन्स द ग्रोथ ऑफ द फंजाई एंड बैक्टीरिया इज there because of the spores, and how that growth takes place because of the favorable condition, क्योंकि उसे sufficient temperature मिल गया, उसे moisture मिल गया, तो वही जो बैक्टीरिया के स्पोर्स या फंजाई के स्पोर्स थिक वॉल के कारण अपनी ग्रोथ को रोक के रखे हुए थे, वो थिक वॉल उनकी रप्चर हो जाएगी और वो वहाँ पे ग्रो करेंगे। ग्रो का मतलब दे विल ग्रो इन योर वेजिटेबल्स एंड दे विल रॉटन देम आउट. So this is how the spore formation takes place. So these are the 5 important modes of the asexual reproduction. Number 1 is fission, in which we discuss about the binary fission and multiple fission. Then there is the budding, followed by our regeneration. Regeneration is very important and it takes place in HYDRA and PLANARIA. If the question is there, name the mode of reproduction in HYDRA, so you can give the answer. Number 1 is budding and the another is regeneration. But HYDRA ka mode of reproduction, first is budding followed by the regeneration, and then spirogyra में fragmentation, then there is a spore formation in the fungi and bacteria. So they are very important. Go through them and also consult your NCERT for the same. Note them in your biology notebook along with the diagram. They are very important topic. In our next class, we will start with our another very important topic, that is a plant reproduction. Plant reproduce again by the two methods, that is asexual and sexual. In asexual, we will discuss about the vegetative reproduction, and in a sexual reproduction, we discuss how the flower is known as the reproductive organ. Till then, stay home, stay happy, stay healthy. Thank you.